Today I'm talking to Belinda Xie. She is an advisor on the Behavioral Economics team for the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. Hello, Belinda.
Hello, hi Denise, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for doing this with us. Can we start right away talking about your job? So you are an advisor on the Behavioral Economics team for an important government office. What is that like? What do you do?
Yeah, so it's sort of a mixture of research and government policy. So our main goal is to just improve government services and government policies so that they work best for human people. Because a lot of the time policy making sort of has an idealized view of how humans act and how humans think.
Can you give an example of the sorts of things that you would be working on?
Yeah, sure. So one project that we recently wrapped up was looking at how to encourage more high achieving Australians to become teachers. So we conducted a survey and an experiment to see what sort of perceptions people have about teaching and what sort of changes we can make to make teaching more attractive. And so obviously we can start by brainstorming with some ideas about what we think the problem is, but then, we actually go and ask people and find out what the barriers are and what incentives would be the nicest. And then we can use that to provide advice to the policymakers in the Department of Education.
So it sounds like a lot of your role is really research. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which is a big part of what attracted me to it in the first place. There is a big emphasis in the department about evidence-based policy making. And so to get that evidence, you do need to conduct research.
So you're an advisor on the Behavioral Economics team. I'm guessing there are other people with different kinds of backgrounds than you. I know you have a PhD in Cognition. Is that typical for the people on the team?
Yeah, that's a great question. There aren't many people who have a PhD in Cognition, but there are quite a few people with a psychology background generally.
So how does your background in psychology help you to do this role?
Yeah, so I think there's sort of two main ways that my psychology background has helped me. The first would be, just my undergrad degree, learning about all the different kinds of psychology and all the theories of psychology, theories of health psychology, social psychology, cognitive psychology, but then also doing honors and then doing a research degree, like my PhD, is super useful in understanding the mechanics of how research works.
So what specific skills or knowledge do you think you got from your psychology degree that you are finding very useful in your job now?
I think the first skill that comes to mind is the ability to read and critically synthesize what you're reading. So, I wrote a lot of essays during my degree where you have to read different journal articles to answer the question that's been given to you. And in my job now, often we do get asked a question. And again, I have to read lots of different articles or, even news articles from around the world to try and understand what's happening. And the skill that I learned throughout my degree of either critically reviewing an article in depth or skimming lots of different articles to see what the general consensus in the literature is. These skills I use a lot in my current job. I'm finding them really helpful.
Is there something else that you would like to say that I haven't asked about?
I think, something I would suggest people who are considering psychology or studying psychology to consider is to try and explore the different areas that psychology can take you during your degree as much as you can. So, for example, when I was doing my undergrad, I was a student volunteer at the Department of Corrective Services in WA. So they were conducting programs to help prisoners when they returned to the community, and they were evaluating how well these programs are working. So I got some experience in that sort of area of psychology. And I also did a bit of work, like working with kids with disabilities, kids on the autism spectrum. So that's a very different path that psychology can take you down. So it's good to just sort of be exposed and to figure out what works for you and what you're interested in. And that can help you, I think, at the end to pick the thing that's best for you.
Awesome. Well, Belinda, thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been fabulous.
No problem. Thank you for having me.